I wanted to take a minute to make you a really quick video about my hair. A few times when I have watched my videos and tried editing them, I've noticed my hair and I've thought, what? Oh, right. I really like the way that my hair is turning out, but it can look a little weird. So I wanted to let you know up front, I am dreading my hair. So I'm letting it go through neglect just into its own dreads, and then the only thing that I'm doing is separating them. So before I decided to do this, I didn't really know much about dreads, and it kind of seemed like the thing that, you know, when my mom would braid my hair into small braids, that kind of thing, it didn't look culturally correct on me. I didn't really feel really right about the way that it felt and that it looked on me with the tight, more like tight braid kind of dreads, the ones that they actually like backcomb and turn into dreads for you. But I had seen someone, actually my upline coach, Jessica, who's gorgeous, and her hair just looks so incredibly awesome. So seeing her and seeing how she could do all the things, and she's just this gorgeous blonde chick, she has such awesome hair, I looked into it a little further. I had all sorts of misconceptions about dreads, that they had to be, you know, dirty and gross and nasty. The more that I looked into it and joined a dreadlocks group that she sent me to when I asked about it, I saw other girls with blonde hair similar to mine letting it go through neglect, and I started to really fall in love with the look and the way that that looked when they just let their hair do what their hair does, not turn it into hair like somebody else's, but just let their hair do what it does itself. So I decided to go ahead and try that, and I got really excited about it because maintaining my hair, preventing knots and all of that, it takes a lot of effort, and it really exhausted me. And I have been through some pretty significant depression over the past few months, and it got to a point where I just didn't want to shower, and I didn't want to make myself shower, and if it started to get late in the day, it just felt like it was too late and maybe I'll shower tomorrow. So showering and brushing my hair and all that very irregularly, and when I started to feel better, it still felt overwhelming to think of getting in the shower, conditioning, brushing my hair. It felt like the longer that I failed to shower, the more time and attention that was going to take. And I didn't like that, and I wanted length, but the longer I grow it, the more it starts to get brittle and it starts to knot up as it starts to break. And then I just have to cut off all the dead ends, and I'd lose all the length that I had just grown. So it was a very frustrating process for me over the past few years. In November last year, I got so tired of it. One day I just cut all of it off because it was just dead and knotting all the time, and I felt like I was constantly fighting a battle. So this has been a way of embracing myself and my body as it is, my hair as it is. It wants to knot. It wants to tie itself up. I want to ride with the windows down and feel the air in my hair and on my face, and not just get home with a complete nightmare of knots to take out. So the more I researched, the more I found that it's just the conditioning that I would have to stop, and other than that, just keep it very clean, because my clean hair, when not conditioned, will get very tangled and it will just hold on to itself. So all I've had to do is just keep it clean. I wash with a cleansing shampoo, specifically that gets rid of residue, and so it doesn't create any residue. And every once in a while I've done baking soda for a little while, but I don't find that that works for me long term. I don't like the way that my hair starts to feel. So I do the Neutrogena Deep Clean shampoo, and it's been about 1 month now, so my baby dreads are growing up. It was just kind of, you know, a little bit tangly for a little while, and then somewhere at the end of the first week, I started to get a couple clusters going, and as of like week 3, I could count 10, and I started one just popped up right here in the crown of my head, so that whichever way I part my hair, it's always here front and center. It's kind of, you can kind of see that it clustered up near the top, and then it's kind of soft down at the bottom and untangly at the bottom, but it's got a pretty thick clustery dread start here. So there's one there, and then the rest have all formed around the top, around the outside. So if I take it and separate it out, which I do every so often, and just get it down to, you know, one cluster, it looks a little bit neater, but you can see that I've got a few hardy looking dreads starting. And then you can see the videos where a couple days ago I wore a hat, so it came down here and came down the back, and somehow that just dreaded the whole right side of my head, pretty much. And on my video where I think I'm showing you the refrigerators, I suddenly have all of this clumpy cluster to the right that I noticed, and I didn't notice until I saw it on the video, which is why I think some of you might have noticed. So I did have to sit and separate all of these chunks at the nape of my neck that just started to turn into one big knotted mass. But I do have some pretty hardy looking dreads starting up here that I have to keep separating out away from everybody else so they don't get too big. I don't want just one giant mass of hair. So I've got some big ones on the left, on the right. The left I can still run my hands through completely. It hasn't gotten the memo. But it's been an amazing and fun journey, and my hair has so much more body and thickness to it. It's not all just falling out, it's holding itself in there because it's knotted. It's not all just breaking off because I'm not tearing at it to try to get it to come apart. And it has so much more body, and it's so easy to take care of my hair now. I just get in the shower, I wash it, I don't worry about trying to comb it out or anything like that. And then when I get out, I towel dry it. I'll pull this stuff down with my fingers like this, which is really hard to do because it's kind of dry feeling. But I pull it down just around here because it can get really like wild, and then I tuck it like that, and then I let it just dry, and I play with it, and I stand in front of fans, and I ride with the windows down, and the next thing you know, it's just all fluffy and happy and messy. I literally woke up this morning and got out of bed and felt just completely disastrously messy, and my hair was a mess, and I went and looked in the mirror and I was like, ooh, my dreads are doing good tonight. This is good. Got something good going. So it's a complete freedom that I feel like all men get to have usually, and I feel like all humans should have. We women should have it too. Just, this is what I look like. This is what this stuff growing out of my head wants to do. It wants to tangle itself up. I have lightened it a lot, which I couldn't do because before it broke it down and then it would get too tangly. So I always had to stop highlighting it to maintain the integrity so that it could grow longer before it would break off, and it would still break off. So highlighted it, and I've put in my pink streak again, and I'm hoping this will actually just form into one big dread. I may backcomb just this one so that I can always have one chunk that I can re-dye pink. But it's been a really fun journey, and just in case anybody out there had any questions about why my hair looked particularly strange sometimes or very messy sometimes, or a little bit more about why I wore a hat that day on that one video where I spoke of it, that's my explanation. My beautiful dreads. 1 month old.